Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. My name is Kevin Janks, and I'll give you my very brief story as to how I got here, and then we'll go into the session. So I didn't grow up meditating. I came to meditation through a lot of stress in one of the jobs that I was working in, and it had a massive, massive impact on me in terms of the anxiety that I used to feel up in my chest, and as well the chronic nightmares that I used to experience. So those two things combined led me down the path where I would eventually find meditation. It took my wife 2 years to convince me to meditate. It's like 2 years of often you should meditate, you should meditate, you should meditate, and me saying no, no, no. And why? Who knows why? There's many, many reasons. None of them are good excuses. And then I started meditating, and my life really did change for the better. And even my mother and my father started commenting about how much calmer I was, and just how much more of a delightful son I was once I started meditating. So there is hope for everyone. There was hope for me, and thanks, Doreen. My backdrop it's an actual print, so it's a real print. It's a good question. I think it's a Moroccan inspired painting, but I'm not 100% sure where exactly it came from. But I know where it came from. It came from our bedroom, and now it's in this room. But I don't know where it came from originally. So what we're going to do today is I'll get into the session now that a few more people have joined us. Today we're going to do the meditation, which is what we've done in the last few weeks, and I want to be us meditating for at least 15 minutes, which is good. And then I also want to talk a little bit about this idea of loss of freedom, which is something that we're all dealing with. If you're in New South Wales, you may be dealing with it in the actual present moment a little bit less than, say, if you're in Victoria, where there are more restrictions in place. But nonetheless, if you're sitting in New South Wales, there's the worry of the loss of freedom. And I really want to address that, because this idea of loss of freedom is something that then takes away our sense of choice. And our sense of free choice, we often would say, is an integral part of being a human being. Part of being human is that we should be able to have some kind of choice. And we see over time some of the worst times in human history usually coincide with when humans have had the least amount of choice. So the question is, without controlling our external environment, how is it that we can send a sense of, how is it that we can cultivate a sense of free choice in our life when we otherwise don't appear to have any free choice, i.e. freedom? So how can we create that sense of freedom inside of our mind, whilst there might not be the physical freedom to, say, go outside of the house? And that's really what I want to look at. And I know a couple of people have already sent me some chats in the chat box, and I will definitely respond to you right after the end of the session. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. So this idea of free choice, let's just take the COVID situation, for example. When we think of free choice, we often think of, do I choose the chicken or do I choose the beef? Or in my case, do I choose the tofu or, I don't know, some other vegetarian dish? That's how we think of free choice, as if I've got two options and I'm weighing them up and I'm going to choose them. But really, in reality, that's not how choice always exists. Right now, we're faced with a situation where it's like COVID, choose. Not chicken or beef, choose. It's like COVID, choose. So how is it then that we can bring that same sense of freedom and free choice to it? And it goes like this. The prevailing paradigm that human beings exist in is this paradigm of what I call the grind. I must do it, but if I really had a choice, I wouldn't do it. And think about how many things in your life that's true for. The way you think to yourself, I really must do this, but if I had a real choice, I wouldn't do it. I know for me, there are a lot of them, starting with making the bed. So that's the prevailing paradigm of human beings. And then we get stuck with something like COVID, and there's really nowhere to go to when we're coming at it from the mindset of well, if I really had a choice, I wouldn't, but I guess I just have to. There's no freedom there at all. No freedom there at all. Now, believe it or not, there is another option. And the option is as simple intellectually. Now, it's not as simple experientially, but it is as simple intellectually as saying, COVID, I choose COVID. Like, okay, great. COVID is what we have. I choose COVID. This is what I choose. And choosing it powerfully with a sense of freedom around it. Like, yeah, I freely choose COVID. I freely choose this situation that we're in. And just without putting aside the experience, that any experience, or like, yeah, what, buts, and all the rest of it, intellectually, that makes a lot of sense. Because it's like, well, wait a minute. Before that, I was stuck in this paradigm of, oh no, COVID. I really wish we didn't have COVID. And everything is like, oh, my overseas holiday got planned. My trip to the theater, got canceled. My trip to the theater got canceled. My trip to the grocery store got canceled. And we can find ourselves going deeper and deeper into this. On the other side, it's like, yeah, COVID's happened and I choose COVID for no other reason, but that's what's happening. Now, notice there's not good or bad. It's not like trying to see the silver lining or trying to find the positives in that. It is literally like, yeah, this is what's happening and I'm choosing what's happening. Because every time I'm not choosing what's happening to me or what's happening to us as a society, there's an internal state of resistance. Most easily explained by this. I hate washing the dishes, right? Absolutely hate washing the dishes. Now, if I've got dishes sitting in the sink and I don't wash them at the time that I make them dirty, in my mind, I do the dishes every single minute until I actually wash them. So there's two kinds of energies working there. There's the energy that it takes to actually just do the dishes, which is, scrubbing the pot. And then there's the energy in my mind for the 20 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 24 hours that I'm not doing the dishes, but dreading doing the dishes. And so we have these kind of like energies piling on top of each other and it gets exhausting. So the alternative is to choose, is really choosing that. And what happens, that breaks the resistance away. And what we come up with, and I'm just going to share a screen with you, what we come up with is a paradigm that looks more like this. And you should be able to see my screen. Instead of looking like I must do this, but if I had a choice, I wouldn't, it looks like I choose to do this. Now, I choose to do this comes from what I call the present moment free choice paradigm, where we freely choose. And one of the ways, because you might correctly say, well, it's so hard to just say, okay, great, I choose COVID. One of the ways that we can do that is by continually, anchoring ourselves in our present moment experience. So continue to just anchor yourselves in your present moment experience. Now, your present moment experience only exists in our 5 senses: touch, taste, see, smell, hear. Those 5 senses is where the present moment exists. Worrying about COVID doesn't exist in any of these senses. So the more we anchor ourselves inside of those 5 senses, the more we actually can have access to the present moment. The more we can have access to the present moment, the more we can consciously tell ourselves, okay, great, this is what's happening and this is what I choose to be inside of, this is what's happening. Because now from there, we can then ask the question, well, how can I now respond to this? How can I respond to what's happening rather than be just at the effect of it, which is what happens when we're in the, I must do this, but if I had a choice, I wouldn't really do it. Then we're kind of like just stuck into it. When we're inside this free choice paradigm, we have a choice. Now, how am I going to respond? Now, does it mean that we can't do things to make our lives better? It's not like, oh, I just accept my lot in life. No, not at all. In fact, we take really powerful, strong action. In fact, in this paradigm of free choice and present and anchoring ourselves in our present moment, we actually take stronger action that will make a real difference in life, as opposed to being stuck in the other paradigm, which essentially leads us down the victimhood pathway. And history is literally littered with all sorts of people that have had their freedoms curtailed and have chosen the situation that they're in and have emerged stronger and really resilient as a result out of it. So that is a little bit on the free choice. And I've been asked the question, do I mean surrender to it? Yes, it is. It's definitely a form of surrender, if that's the way that you hear it. A lot of people hear surrender in kind of like a giving up kind of way. It's not what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about, as I said, just accepting our lot in life. So it is another way of looking at it from a surrender perspective. That's exactly right. Thank you for that person that asked the question. So I'll just recap the takeaway message at the end of the session. But for now, I want to set us up for the meditation practice. So for those that are used to our meditations by now, then you can feel free to make yourself comfortable. I'm sharing my screen again with you just so that you can see the little meditation flywheel that I have. This is our technique in meditation. I'm gonna be guiding you through this whole thing. So if you're newer to this practice, no problem at all. We rest our awareness on an anchor point, which will be my voice or your breath or something like that. Your mind will wander away, and you're not trying to stop your mind from wandering away. Okay, whatever you do, don't try to stop your mind from wandering away. Only at the point in which you have the realization that the mind had completely wandered away, do you gently bring it back. And at any point through the meditation, you don't resist things like sleep or thoughts or anything. Pains in your body, you have an itch, scratch the itch. You need to move, no problem at all. So that being said, get nice and comfortable, sitting down, lying down, however works for you. If you're wearing glasses, then I recommend taking them off because you will feel a little bit more calmer in your face as a result. And then closing your eyes whenever you're ready. And once you've closed your eyes and settled into your chair, perhaps even taking a big sigh out or a little sigh. And then allowing yourself to just gently pick up that belly breathing. So we've got that belly breathing, which is we do through breathing with our diaphragm, the muscle just below our rib cage. And all you're doing is you're very gently breathing into that diaphragm. So really gently breathing in almost towards your belly and feeling your belly as it gently rises with each inhale. And then on your exhale, feeling your belly gently fall with each exhale. You're even welcome to rest a hand on your belly for that feedback, but you don't have to. It's no problem at all. Some people do like the feeling of the belly gently rising with the inhale, falling with the exhale. And it's really important that the breath is nice and easy. There's no straining your breath in any way. There's no trying to push away thoughts. Just by doing the belly breathing, you're doing wonders for your body, helping to calm the nervous system, a whole range of other benefits. And that's all working regardless of how many thoughts you're having. Thoughts really aren't a problem during meditation. In fact, thoughts are integral and actually needed during meditation. But how we have these thoughts is we just start by resting our awareness on the anchor point, which right now is your belly breath, or it could be my voice at any time. Your mind will wander away. You're not trying to stop the mind from wandering. And at some point, you'll just have the spontaneous realization that the mind had wandered away. And only at that point are you easily and effortlessly returning back to your anchor point, whether it's your breath, my voice. You'll probably spend most of the meditation with your mind wandering away in some way, shape, or form. How you feel during the meditation doesn't really matter. It's all about how you feel outside of the meditation in your everyday life. And so all you're doing is following this easy, effortless process, resting your awareness on your belly breath right now. At first, you might notice the thoughts, and it's totally fine to notice the thoughts as you rest your awareness on the belly breath. And then just allowing that belly breath to return to a normal, comfortable breath, however that looks for you. And then moving your awareness into your face, allowing your forehead to gently soften, your eyebrows to loosen, your jaw to release. Moving down to your neck and shoulders, just allowing your shoulders to sink away from your ears. And then on your next inhale, just imagining yourself gathering up any remnants of tension through your neck or shoulders with that breath in. And on your next exhale, imagining any tension just dissipating with your breath out, your shoulders sinking a little bit further towards the floor, your hands allowed to rest nice and loose wherever they are. And then you may even wish to bring your awareness up into your chest, this time taking a deep cleansing breath into your chest, but letting it all go through your mouth on this occasion. And then allowing your awareness to drift down into your belly. And this time with a full, steady breath into your belly, imagining yourself gathering up any remnants of tension, feeling your belly rise as you breathe in. And whenever you're ready, letting it all go on a complete and cleansing exhale, your belly sinking a little bit further into the back of your chair. And continuing to allow your awareness to drift down your body, over your thighs, over your next few breaths, just allowing your thighs to become a little bit softer and softer with each exhale. It's important that you're not trying to force any release. It's more important to just go through this process. Moving down over your knees, past your shins, down over your calves, and all the way down to your feet. And from this place, just allowing your awareness to rest on your breath or on any part of your breath that you may feel is prevalent. So all you're doing is you're just resting your awareness on that breath. Whether you notice your breath up at your nose, whether you notice your breath down in your belly, or anywhere else in your body. It's important that you're not trying to concentrate or focus. Just a nice, relaxed, easy, lazy, effortless awareness. And your awareness is so easy, so lazy, so effortless that your mind is bound to wander away into the thought stream. And you're not trying to stop that mind from wandering. You're not trying to push thoughts away. All you're doing, at some point, you'll become aware that the mind had completely wandered away. And only at that point are you easily and effortlessly returning your awareness back to your breath. And as you go through this, not even resisting things like sleep, just taking it all as it comes. You are not your thoughts. The thoughts are just passing through. You are not your emotions either. They too are just passing through. And I invite you now to let go of your breath, letting go of any anchor point, and just rest here for these last few moments, allowing the effects of the meditation to sink in. So you're still keeping your eyes closed. You're welcome to stay exactly as you are, or you're very welcome to recline or slouch back into a more comfortable position. You're even welcome to lie down if that works for you. And you're just keeping your eyes closed, allowing your mind to go wherever it needs to go. And I'll keep the time as you just rest for this last few moments. And gradually beginning to deepen your breath, and becoming aware of your body once more. And if at this point you prefer to continue to rest, you're welcome to continue resting. It's no problem at all. Otherwise, keeping your eyes closed, just starting to bring some gentle movement into your body, expanding this movement whenever you're ready into anything that feels comfortable. If you'd like to stretch or twist or even yawn, it's perfectly fine. And then just before opening your eyes, just taking a moment to notice how you're feeling inside. How's your body feeling? Is your body feeling a little more calm and at ease? How's your mind feeling? Are you feeling a little more calm, a little more centered? And then setting your intentions to carry any of those feelings with you for the rest of your day. There's absolutely no rush then. Whenever you're ready, you can very slowly open your eyes. Sorry, I knocked my glasses against the table. So that was actually, we got in 17 minutes of meditation. So that was a bit longer, a very respectable amount of time to be meditating. So if that felt long or short for you, then that is absolutely fine. Meditation sometimes feels a bit longer, a little bit shorter, depending on the day. And if you experience lots of thoughts, lots of abstract dream-like states, like you are sleeping, dreaming, being awake, that's totally fine as well. If you experienced just lots of like sensations in the body, like you're twisting, spinning, floating, or maybe you're seeing shapes, colors, spots. If you experience any of that, that's all totally normal and very indicative that you're meditating correctly. Now, if there are any experiences that anyone would like to share, I will open that up in just a moment. Otherwise, I want to thank everyone for joining me, remembering that access to that free choice paradigm is two things. One is choosing what there is to choose, which sometimes there's not really a choice, but we can actually choose to go with that. And it doesn't mean that we can't take actions that will support a better world, for example. So yeah, we're not just throwing up our hands and accepting our lot in life, not at all. And we're choosing to be in the moment that we're in. And one of the things that will help you with that is that idea of anchoring yourself in the present moment in one of your five senses, and not being upset if the mind does wandering away, not trying to push away any of those thoughts at all. So that was really just a very brief look into a very complex area of study, for want of a better word. So I hope that you got something from it. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, you can get me on my email address or my phone number. I'll put that in the box as well, for those that would prefer to call me for anything that they would need to call me for. And other than that, I will give you an ability to unmute yourself, and I will see you all next week for our last session. So if you'd like to unmute yourself, you're very welcome to do so. Other than that, I hope that you have a really, really awesome rest of your week.